What is the meaning of life for you?
The meaning of what?
Coffee break!
This is a reminder.
Here we are with Deathmachine after an awesome party.
I guess the feeling that I'm trying to make when I write music is futuristic, technical, slightly dark, but not always. I like to think that this kind of stuff that I do covers different emotions, but predominantly I want to convey the message that hardcore can still be emotional.
You can help me.
What is the absolute happiness for you?
Well, talking about in my whole life, it's probably my family. Well, it's obviously my family. That's the thing that makes me the most happy. After that, then it's music, without a doubt. I love writing music, and in the last year, I've kind of been forced to take a break from writing music because I've been moving house. And it's only then that I've realised how much I actually love writing music and how much I need to do it. Because those few months when I wasn't making any music at all, it kind of really got to me. And it kind of hit me quite deep down to realise that I really, really need to make music. My wife, she's into the music anyway. She loves. We met at a hardcore club, so she's been into the music just as long as I have. I've got two boys. They like the music as well. You know, they love dancing to it. I'm quite old now, so when I was a teenager, that was the start of the rave scene in the UK, so like late 80s, early 90s. And I lived in a central part of England, very close to a venue called the Sanctuary, which was the biggest rave venue in the UK. So it was always on our local news. Sometimes there were deaths because of drugs and things like that. So my mother in particular, she was like, oh, that's terrible, you can't go there. But I didn't see that part of it. I saw the musical side of it, and I was drawn to that so much. And it was probably around about when I was 14 or 15, I kind of really, really got into it. Waited a couple of years, and then I went to my first rave. And the rave scene was huge back then. This was talking early 90s now. But yeah, my mum, she wasn't very happy because she was seeing on the news about all the bad things, but I was going to the parties and I was seeing all the good things.
How would you describe your music in 5 words? Only in 5 words.
Futuristic, heavy, introspective sometimes, energy.
If you would start any other alias, what name would you pick and in what genre would you start it?
Well, I'm not so sure what name I'd pick, but I love lots of other styles of electronic music. I love drum and bass from the start. I've been trying to make a bit of drum and bass as well. I like techno as well. I've always liked techno, so those, if I was ever going to do another alias, it would be in either one of those, but I don't know about a name.
Face with yourself.
A lot of the hardcore scene is very commercial these days. You go to Dominator or things like that, there's huge money involved, huge marketing, which is kind of good for the scene because it kind of attracts attention to the music. But obviously the stuff I make and my friends make, it's very more kind of underground, but we're still kind of connected to that scene. So in one sense it's good that lots of people can come to these kind of festivals, but as long as we're getting the exposure that I think all of us deserve, then that's the kind of main thing that's important to me, really. So one of the problems I see at the moment in the scene is that there's kind of quite a skew in terms of exposure. Up-tempo is the massive thing in the hardcore scene at the moment, and I believe hardcore as a whole genre is very strong because of its diversity, and I think maybe that's been lost a bit in the last few years. When I got into hardcore in the 90s, everyone had an equal kind of exposure, and even in one room you'd have a variation of styles. And I think that's what's changed now. There's subgenres are so specific. You kind of have almost events now dedicated to subgenres, where I think that's kind of been lost a bit, which is a bit of a shame. I like small club parties like this because you're kind of closer to the crowd. It's obviously darker, so you can kind of gives a better atmosphere, I think. But conversely, I like festivals as well because it's normally in the sun, and they're generally bigger as well, so you get a chance to play your music to more people. So I kind of don't really have a preference between the two. I think it's quite nice to kind of have that cycle every year. You have festivals in the summer, and then you kind of have clubs in the winter.
I didn't beg for my life. I didn't scream for him to let me go. There wasn't any of that.
For somebody who just already getting into the hardcore electronic scene, who would you recommend to listen to?
That's actually one of my personal missions, is to make hardcore music that people who've never heard hardcore before think, oh, that's interesting, that's cool music. But yeah, as for other guys, I mean, generally the guys that I kind of work with, so the Outside Agency, obviously, the DJ producer, Dolphin as well. Those are kind of the first three that spring to mind, who are, for me, doing forward-thinking, really interesting hardcore.
I would make him suffer. I would make him dead. I would make him scream. And most importantly, I would make him scream.
I don't really get a chance to play in Budapest very often because I was saying earlier, I fly into Budapest and then I play in Slovakia. So to play in Budapest is really cool. So I think this is only my second time. And it's nice. Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, and one more thing. If you could go to anywhere, what place would you pick?
Well, I'm probably biased, but I'd go back to the 90s in the UK.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.